Hello, chat. Welcome to the show tonight. Welcome to the show. All my friends said the attorneys in the thumbnail look and saying that's a stock photo of attorney. So I don't even know who they are, but it's a stock photo, so don't worry. So, but welcome to the show, guys. We've got an interesting one to talk about. Thanks to Ag Biochemist, he sent this because once he moved down to Louisiana, he became like the unofficial mayor of New Orleans, and this is about it's a big scam, and eventually somebody got murdered in it, which isn't really a big deal. But it's kind of interesting how this all breaks out. Hold on one sec. I know EDW lives in Louisiana. Oh, okay. Well, EDW apparently wanted it done as well. I didn't realize I saw that, but I saw Al the Design talking about it. So we're gonna take a look at this, and it's interesting. It's interesting what this is all about. Sure, forgot something is happening on his YouTube. What? Huh? Anyway, did everybody hear the news? Maureen Comey was showing the door today. Well, after she fucked up the P. Diddy case, yeah, I could see that. Happy trails, bitch. Although, joke's on me, she's going to work at some white shoe firm and make like $200,000 a year. So, fuck you, Sean. Suffer fat, man. So, yeah. This is, it's an interesting one, and we're going to get to it. But first, if you guys are new, my name's Sean, someone's potentially criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and tonight we're going to look at this. But first, because my birthday's coming up in 2.0, the lovely future Mrs. Mara 2.0 has decided to give me like a ton of presents to open all at once. I guess we're going to open another present. So, EDW Raptor says, I was born in the same area code as New Orleans, but we got changed in my teens. Here's to the 504. If you're from there, I guess you know what he's talking about. So, Chugi says Sean forgot something is happening on his YouTube. I guess I forgot something. I'm not sure. And then Malcolm Combs has been a member for 15 months. Thank you for the support. Malcolm says, wow, these guys really go the extra mile for their clients. I mean, yeah, kind of. I should take some notes. All right. ER says happy birthday. Not till August 10th, but yeah. Suki says, I'm finally did it. Oh, awesome. Whatever it was that you did, I'm glad you did it, Suki. I'm from the original 904. Yes, you have to have different hoes and area codes. Debbie says, do you mean $200K a month? Well, I mean, she might come in at like a higher associate level or maybe just shy a partner. But yeah, she's going to be, she's going to be eating well at the end of the day. Gryffindor says Nick's latest stream was wild. I didn't know he did one until I saw the Alyssa clip about it. So, I mean, like, I guess good. He did 2 nights in a row. I mean, I don't know. Like, doesn't sound like there was much to miss. So, anyway, we're gonna open this because I give more of a shit about this right now than actually any other day. Oh. Ooh. I opened the wrong side. I was hoping I'd open up the side that looks like this. But I opened up the other side so I could see everything. Oh, babe. This is cool. I like it. Some of you are like, well, show us. And I'm like, I will in a second. But I want to look for myself. Where did you find all these? Honey, where did you find all this stuff? Babe? Well, I thought you know because it's in the green packaging. Ooh, this will be a fun one to do too. Anyways, chat, we've got this to go along with the motorcycles from the day before. So we've got a German motorcycle and sidecar. This looks based. Because we could do these guys in all kinds of gear. We could do them in like Leibermuster. Or you could do them in like oak, partisan oak pattern. We have all kinds of cool stuff to these dudes. But check this out. This looks pretty fucking cool. Uh-huh. Yeah. Pretty fucking cool. And it's actually like, believe it or not, it's like super, and in a good way, pretty simple. That's it. That's the entire thing. And yeah, these guys are, yeah, I think these guys can, we can make them all kinds of things. All kinds of stuff with this. These will be neat. This will be a neat one. Cool. Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, I need to grab those. No, I'll grab them after we're done. And I'll do it in between the members only show. No, I'll get them. But thank you. Where are you getting all these? Okay, well, awesome. Okay, well, thank you, babe. We'll put that on the pile of shame. More to get through, chat. Jeez, the pile is growing. The pile is growing. It shall never end, apparently. So, Jane and John Doe say, "Oh my Sneed," yes. Why Sneed when you can cope? Let's see here. It's from George Santos. No. Scarebro's called out EDW and I. Oh, wow. Is it paper so I can write about my struggles on my German typewriter? Not yet. Not yet. We gotta do some work on that. There's some work we're gonna have to. I gotta take a look at that at some point here coming up, but not right now. Shane and John Doe are just channeling their baked Alaska. Yes, we love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military. They're important. Yes. You can reenact that scene from The Last Crusade. Yes, I can. Yes. Is it a BMW motorcycle? I'm assuming so. And yeah, based on what? To quote the great Paul Harrell. All right, here, guys. Let's see, where are we at? Well, you guys are going fast. Did you get one of Jesse Potawful's Kayla shirts? No, but those are fucking hilarious. Those are funny. If not, what I like one, or maybe the Aaron one. Well, remember, I don't think they have big enough shirts, so they don't make shirts. They aren't probably printing shirts in boat sale. So, no. Some models are very rare and will likely never be made again. I don't know about these ones. I think they are still made, but yes, they're not common. So those will be fun. We need more model streams. There are. There are all kinds of model streams. There are all kinds of model streams. Did I see the subpoenas in the Blake Lively case? No, I have not. Don't be afraid, guys. Don't be afraid to tag me or send me things, too. Yes, they don't come in size tarp. Yes. So, yes. What size do you wear? Fiat is what I wear. Correct. All right, chat. So that's enough talk. It's time to go. We got 250 people here. Let's get into it. So this involves, and I guess we need to kind of go back in time a little bit here. There's a lot of money in the legal field in insurance litigation. For insurance defense, it's not bad money at times, but the real money is being on the plaintiff's side and personal injury. And one of the biggest ones to do is not slip and fall, but it's car accidents. It's specific because car accidents, everybody has insurance. And insurance companies will pay out. The biggest one of all, though, are ones involving tractor trailers or semi-trucks. Because the commercial carriers, they have insurance. They have to be insured. And those insurance companies, you have big policies when you're running a semi-company. You have a company, JB, Hunt, Swift, anything with a couple of trucks running for it, you're going to have a big insurance policy. And yeah, the contingency is hard, but if you can make your nut, I mean, the insurance companies, they will do they will pay. They will pay. And there's obviously, just like you see on YouTube with people in the dash cam channels, how do insurance scammers work? Well, they cause accidents. They cause accidents. And this happens a lot. People will cause accidents. You get a little bit of insurance money and you move on. You do it a bunch of times. Now you have a shitload of money. Well, the same thing for truck cases. You get in an accident with a truck and you don't really have to get hurt too bad, but you might fuck up the car. Okay. And then you get a couple, you get a nice chunk of money and you give them a little bit. You keep the rest for yourself on contingency. Tens of thousands of dollars. After a while, this shit adds up. This shit adds up. Well, some place in Louisiana, a couple law firms got a little greedy, here. And yeah. So what happened here? Well, eventually their fraud got caught on. And Spet says Misney makes them pay. I didn't know you were a Cleveland guy. But yes, Tim Misney, you know what he does. You know what he does. And the neat thing is, everywhere you go, you've got a guy that's this guy who's the accident guy. You've got companies that they, with serious clients for, serious attorneys for serious injuries. Or we only, what's another one I've heard before? What's this other one I've heard before? What they do? There's a couple these there's a couple these law firms, and they're like, oh, we have an attorney. Our attorneys actually got their CDLs or serious injuries. I remember I saw this one law firm when I was in Toledo Law School, and they had like the two guys around there. They were like this on the side of the bus. Serious injuries, serious accidents only. And they had a semi truck in the background in a crash with a car. And that's where they make their money. That's where they make their money. It is a thing. It is a thing. So yeah, the Murdoch family firm was built on the truck cases. Yeah. Yep. You can make your money suing the railroads. There's a lot of money to be made suing people for accidents and death. There's a lot of money. Morgan and Morgan, yep. Morgan and Morgan's a big one. And it's funny because I think one of the guys actually, one of the like elder Morgans got fucking disbarred for being a fucking shitbag. So I think that it's all there. It's all there. Diane says one call. That's all. Gruber Law in Milwaukee. Yeah, you guys, everybody's got these dudes in their towns that do this thing. Yeah, he lost his license. Yeah. Justice KPJ. That says, here's my rec. Here's my check. But they got it back. Oh, they got it back? Okay. But yeah, Morgan and Morgan are, but dude, they make their money. They are, dude, they make their money. You know how many accidents people they go through? Just churning them out. Well, these firms in New Orleans actually got together. These attorneys in New Orleans got together, and well, instead of doing it the right way, they got charged with staging automobile collision schemes, and they faked accidents and they caused accidents. And two of the people involved, and a couple others actually now, were involved in the murder of a witness. So, yes, if you're hurt in a car, call KNR. Yes, Kisley, Nesco, and Reddick. Yeah, and it's funny because I remember times I've been in a car accident and get calls from them. I'm like, no, I'm good. Don't worry. One time I was in law school and I got in a car accident and they called and I was like, nah, I'll figure out who I want to talk to later. Turns out there wasn't really anything we could do on that one. Chasing the bad guys, not the ambulances. Well, What is this all about here? Well, we need to go back to the beginning because this indictment is a very good job of explaining it. So this is an indictment. It's a second superseding indictment, meaning there was a first indictment, there was a first superseding indictment, and now we're on to the second superseding indictment. So here's what happened. Here's what happened with all these people. We're gonna go through these guys. So take it, get ready for these names. So what are these guys accused of doing? Well, they're accused of doing a lot of stuff, chat. They're accused. Oh, you know what? I didn't get set up here. Hold on. Um. mm, Okay, hold on here, chat. All righty, there we go. Guys, tonight at 10, we are going to start the. We're going to do the members only stream. So just stick around. Then I will tell you that's what we're going to get into there. But as you can see, you read the heading on the superseding indictment. You're like, wait, what? The hell did all these people do? Well, they've done a lot. Conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud. That's not good. That's not good, chat. And, obviously, along with the conspiracy to commit it, just regular mail fraud, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, making false statements, conspiracy to commit witness tampering through murder, witness tampering through murder, retaliating against a witness through murder, and causing the death release of firearm. These are all federal offenses, chat. These guys, they're going deep. They're going deep on this one. They are going deep on this one, guys. Oh, buddy. Wow, this is not good. This is not good. So what happened? Well, oh, hold on here. I made the wrong thing. Sorry, chat. Everybody should still be in here. Chat, that actually maybe have accidentally gone members only for a second. Please come back. You're still here. So Diane says, whoa, I know these guys did. These guys did it all. So here's what you got. Somebody says SS. What are these little thingies right here? Oh, what are those SS thingies? Oh, somebody was just asking that. Edward Scott, what are you asking what that is? That means section. That means 18 USC section 1349. That is just the symbol for section. So that's what that is there. Cool channel. That's what you were asking. What are the two SS? I was wondering what you meant. I'm like, yes. It's a symbol section. If you actually go into Microsoft Word, you can find this. It's a symbol you can use. And we use these frequently as attorneys. Not always, though. But yes, if that's what you're talking about right there, that just means section. So it doesn't mean, not subsection. No. Johan says, Sean, don't do the hand thing again. Which hand thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Which one? I mean, what hand thing? Okay. So let's take a look at the names of the people. Sean Alfertish, Vanessa Moda from the Moda Law Firm, LLC. Wow. Jason Giles, Loren the King Firm, LLC. Guy named Leon Parker, also known as Chunky. Mickey Stahlberg, Carl Morgan, Tamara Lawrence. What do they all charge? Well, these guys had a conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud. So let's start off with Sean Alfertish. Was a resident of New Orleans and a disbarred attorney. Oh God, you could tell already this is gonna end well. You could tell already this is gonna end well. You can tell already this is going to end well. This is just amazing. It's like, he's a disbarred attorney. Well, no shit. Yes, a big wire fraud scam. So Vanessa Mota was the principal attorney at Mota Law LLC, and she had offices in the New Orleans area. She resided in the New Orleans area and was in a very serious and romantic relationship with Alfertish. And yeah, she used to be like a stunt woman. She had a history as being like a stunt woman for movies. Then there's Jason Giles, who is an attorney and partner at the King firm. The King firm, which that sounds like very typical for like New Orleans, like the King firm. Had an office in New Orleans and they resided in the New Orleans area. Then there's a guy named Ryan Harris, aka Red. He owned an automobile repair shop. You're like, oh wow. This is how the stuff starts coming together. We're putting a team together, chat, to commit fraud. Here we go. You got Leon Parker, and they resided in New Orleans. Then you had Stalbert. They lived nearby. Morgan lived nearby. Lawrence lived nearby. There was Danny Patrick Keating. There was Attorney C, Attorney D, Attorney E, and Attorney F. Were attorneys who worked in the New Orleans area. Well, this is getting interesting. There's a lot of great names of people. Cornelius Garrison, also known as Pooney, or Slim. Damian LeBeau, Roderick Hickman, Slammer G, Slammer H, and Slammer L were all residents. And then in and around October of 2019, Garrison began covertly cooperating with the feds concerning staged automobile collisions. So Cornelius Garrison, Pooney got flipped, chat. He got flipped. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no, chat. Real quick, Walter Malone says, is this where the ambulance chaser meme for lawyers comes from? No, but there used to be lawyers who would chase an ambulance going to the hospital, and they would chase the ambulance to the hospital and say, what happened? Especially if they knew there was an accident, like they'd have a scanner, and they hear, oh, there's a car accident, and they come in like, tell me what happened. Here's my card. Well, Bar Association started cracking down on all that. That's solicitation. Can't do it. But that's where lawyers got known as ambulance chasers. They would literally chase ambulances. 100% they would. And then EDW Raptor for $10 says, what pisses me off about the story, and most people don't realize, many CDL drivers lost their careers due to this scam. These guys were just trying to make a living. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. That's very true. And thank you for the super chat, EDW. So now we got a guy who's already been snitching now, for 6 years now. So beginning at an unknown time, but as early as 2011, it continued until about December of 2024, guys. It's a long time to run a hustle. They talk about all these defendants together. So what do? Well, they tried to devise a scheme and artifice to defraud and obtain money and property from insurance companies and commercial vehicle companies. And they caused this mail matter, in which would have been the checks for settlements, to be delivered by the United States Postal Service. There also might have been settlement documents, and by any private or commercial interstate carrier, meaning FedEx, UPS, for the purpose of executing or attempt to execute their scheme to defraud, which makes it wire fraud, which makes it mail fraud. They did the same thing by causing signals and sounds to be transmitted by means of wire communication, meaning phone calls, emails, faxes. That's all wire fraud. So there you go, chat. This is where they start. And they bring up the conspiracy. So it involved individuals who would rode in automobiles as passengers, knowing they'd be part of collisions. Those individuals later lied as part of fraudulent insurance claims and lawsuits. Additionally, the conspiracy included individuals who drove automobiles and intentionally collided with tractor trailers and other commercial vehicles in order to stage collision, and they're known as slammers. And I've heard of this before. I've heard these terms. Like if you ever talk about getting into private or personal injury, attorneys who know, they're like, be careful. There are fucking scam artists everywhere, and you might unknowingly help them. But yeah, these 18, the tractor trailer drivers, it's CDL holders lose their licenses. So they also talk about people who drove automobiles to search for the collisions. They're known as spotters. And at various points, the slammers also serve as spotters. I mean, yeah, they're just a big group of them. And oh wow, it is raining like a son of a bitch outside. Hold on. Wow, I can hear it on the roof through my headphones. So they say, additionally, they fraudulently use the names and personal identification information of other people to file false insurance claims. And they have to, because if they kept on saying Sean Martin kept that appearing in crashes somehow, oh, well, this week he was a passenger in a car. Next week he's driving a car. Eventually, the insurance company is going to go, wait, this is a scam. So they have to use different names all the fucking time, or it does not work. So this is not really, this isn't abnormal. But tell me, this could be RICO, though? I mean, it could be. It could be RICO. But RICO's tough. RICO's really tough to do. RICO's really tough to do. Chugi says the stream ended for me. Well, I'm sorry. It didn't mean for it to do that. So, Rowan says, this is a stream I need Gosney for. Yeah, but I don't know if I didn't even think about that till I got started. And I'm like, oh my God, Steve would have been perfect for this. Well, I know he's probably working, so. Why does it sound like a team going to the casino and betting cards? Pretty much, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, yes, insurance companies do share their claim histories to target scammers, but it sounds like they were running around and using enough fake names and different names that they were surviving, and they hit on the radar, but eventually they got caught. So additionally, conspiracy involved law firms, attorneys, and others associated with the law firms and attorneys, which I'm surprised there aren't any doctors listed, because I've already read through this chat, and I've gone on Pacer, and here's the thing. When you go to Pacer and you look at this for the Eastern District of Louisiana, there's a bunch of defendants. And this starts back in May of 2024 when some people get indicted. And look how many docket entries there are. 351. 351. So there's a lot of docket entries. There are a lot of docket entries on this. So I don't know how much there is. I don't know how much more. I didn't find any doctors involved, but usually, when you're doing PI, you have doctors you send people to. And part of their job is to make sure they give, it's a good doctor you rely on. You're not, most attorneys don't do that where there's any kickbacks or things like that, but they have business relationships. So anyway, the King firm pursued fraudulent lawsuits knowing they were based on staged collisions. And that means Giles did it. And that means Mata Law did it. And that means Mata did it. Now, Forfeiture, although he's a disbarred attorney, worked with Mata and paid for the slammers for the staged collisions. Ryan Harris was a slammer who drove automobiles and collided with tractor trailers and other commercial vehicles. That also means just panel trucks and other things, chat. Concrete trucks, whatever. And Harris staged collisions for Forfeiture, Mata, and Mata Law. And they say Parker was involved in at least 3 staged collisions. And both of these firms represented Parker at different times. Stalbert was involved in 2 collisions. Morgan was involved in 1. Lawrence provided stolen personal information to Harris. And that's how they kept going. You have to keep having new people get into car accidents. And they say Keating knowingly pursued fraudulent lawsuits based on staged collisions and paid LeBeau and Hickman for that. Attorney C no longer pursued fraudulent lawsuits based on the collisions, and he litigated the lawsuits with Giles, the King firm, Mata, and Mata Law. So these attorneys have not been indicted yet. Attorney D did the same thing. Attorney E did the same thing. Attorney F did the same thing. So stupid, losing your law license over this stuff. Losing your ticket over this. Why would you do it? Why would you do that? You know, this is just imagine that. Imagine that. You know, you're so you get your law license and you piss it away doing this shit. X is their Supreme Court bar hearing stuff. Oh, I'm sure they got disbarred, and they should be fucking disbarred. They're fucking liars. You can't trust them, and I hope they get disbarred. I want them to be disbarred. If they don't get disbarred, I'd be very pissed off that they're not disbarred. So we keep going, though. We keep learning about the story that Garrison was a slammer, and he staged collisions for all these attorneys and others. And then in 2019, he began covertly cooperating with the government, meaning he probably he got caught doing something and he snitched out to save himself. And they talk about all these slammers who worked with Garrison. You know, the slammers are obviously the people who get the crashes. So obviously the conspiracy is the defendants staged automobile collisions with the 18-wheelers for the purpose of filing fraudulent lawsuits. And further, they recruited other individuals to participate. You know, and then they utilized the mail and the wirings to file and pursue insurance claims and lawsuits. It says further part of the conspiracy, the defendants exploited the state and federal court systems by pursuing these lawsuits. And they caused witnesses to provide false testimony, which is witness tampering. And this happened in the Eastern District of Louisiana and elsewhere. So they talk about the first two, LeBeau and Hickman. They both worked as slammers and spotters. When they worked as slammers, they caused the accidents before exiting their vehicles and fleeing the scene, which is one way to do it. You cause the crash and you just run off. When they work as spotters, they followed the slammers before picking up the slammers after they caused the collisions. And then around 2015, Giles left his prior law firm and he and other attorneys founded the King firm, which is such a fucking cringe name. Why, like, you know, just fucking use your names. In addition to staging collisions, LeBeau and Hickman worked as illegal runners. As runners, they referred individuals involved in crashes to the King firm for money. And that's solicitation. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. They knew that LeBeau and Hickman were staging the collisions. For example, they sometimes communicated through coded language, including phishing terms that refer to staged collisions. They frequently visited the King firm and met with the attorneys there. It's like, well, and you know what that means, chat? The FBI is surveilling the shit out of these guys. So, yes, we was kangs. The king cake, Sean, that's why. Well, yeah. That could be. Okay. So, Edward Scott says the feds let this go on for 5 years. Well, they probably heard about it, but as they got going, I'm assuming the feds, like, probably they found a little bit and they're like, ooh, let's see where this leads. And they're like, oh. Then they're like, oh. Then they're like, oh my God. And then they're like, whoa, whoa. And they just, you let it keep growing. And eventually you're like, holy shit, there are attorneys involved in this. So I'm sure that they let it keep going so they can figure out what's going on. So, oh, wow, it's getting bad out there. You think this would be harder to do with dash cams? Well, I mean, at some points it is, but Remember 2011, how many people had dash cams? How many trucks had dash cams? Not that many. I mean, in the past 5 years, yes, everybody's got them. And it's getting harder and harder and harder to do stuff. But think about 10 years ago. Nobody had dash cams. Very few people still did. Think about it. Very few people still had a dash cam. More and more people do now, but I mean, think about 2.0 got me for Christmas a AI tracking camera that could do all kinds of things. And it could even, if I click a button, it'll turn on to desk mode. Cool. Think about how much a camera like that would have cost 10 years ago, even if it could have existed. A ton of fucking money. A ton of money. A ton of fucking money. Can even track my face sometimes. Oh, if I turn it on, it will. I mean, why is it? Hold on. Why is it not doing it? Oh, please select the target for tracking. All right. See, look there. Woo, woo. See, guys, it does all kinds of stuff. Can it track a sandwich? Yeah. Some countries do require dash cams. In Russia, that's why all the dash cams started coming out of Russia, chat. Originally, for the longest time, is because there was so much insurance fraud in Russia. They demanded it. But yes, yeah, all the Russians had dash cams in 2011. Yeah, they had dash cams into like the late 90s. And trucks got them earlier and earlier. Yes, they did. But still, even in 2011, they weren't there and they weren't that good. So, and it just takes a while. Building a case, as Keopathic is right, it takes time. And if you keep finding stuff, you keep finding more. And it took them a while, and they probably found all the slammers and the spotters. And then after a while, they're like, oh my God, attorneys are involved. A lot of attorneys are involved. I mean, they found more and more and more and more and more stuff. So that is why we did that. That is why it keeps going. See, all our work vehicles have dash cams now. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very true thing. It happens, but last time nobody had that information or the necessarily capability, or it wouldn't be good quality. Now, how do they figure stuff out here? So, Attorney Giles, though, became well acquainted with for example, LeBeau purchased jewelry for Giles and other attorneys at the firm. On at least one occasion, Giles shared intimate personal information with LeBeau. That's so fucking cringe. That is so cringe. I can't believe it. And is Giles a guy or a woman? Is Giles Jason Giles? And where's hold on, LeBeau? Wait, did I miss LeBeau here somewhere? Cause it's like, wait, is LeBeau a dude? You're like, no, but you're like, oh no. So, but they're sharing jewelry, and it's like, oh, they're like, they're gay. You're like, no. Anyways, they figured out that Giles and the King firm paid these two via cash. Okay, cash is king. And checks. No, always in writing, never in cash. Don't do checks. Checks are a paper trail. For bringing them stage collisions. They were paid about $1,000 per passenger for collisions that involved tractor trailers. To conceal their payments, the firm often made payments as loans or advances on future settlements, which they can do. They can loan you money or they can advance you money. Then again, though, well, this is not OCR'd right here, Keopathic, so control F won't work. This is where it gets like this stuff here, guys. If firms can do this, but this shit is very sketchy. You should never if you're doing that stuff as a law firm, you need to fucking check yourself. That is never a good idea. It's never a good idea. They say on a date unknown but not later 2017, LeBeau met with Keating and told him about the collision scheme. Keating agreed to pay LeBeau the same amount received from Giles and the firm. $1,000 for collisions, and they began staging collisions for Keating for his auto company. So similarly, Keating, through coded language, involved phishing terms. They were paid via checks and cash for bringing him collisions to fix. He also advanced money to them, and he instructed LeBeau that they owed Keating a certain number of collisions based on the amount of money that he would advance them. So what did they do? Well, they did numerous collisions, and notice these aren't all of them, but they're doing it to show an ongoing chain of events and a fraud thing here. So in December 2011, they staged a collision involving a tractor trailer and a Mercedes-Benz C280. They filed a lawsuit after that. In 2015, they did it with an Infiniti FX35. Of course, they used an Infiniti. On October 13th, they did one in a Chevy Tahoe. And they talk about these attorneys all conspired to file and pursue a fraudulent lawsuit based on the claim. So the Giles, the King firm, and Attorney D did it. On December 2015, they used a Chevy Camaro. I mean, like, they just keep on going here, chat. Just keep on crashing into things. They did, and Keating's downfall too, because if he's fixing the cars, he can now bill for it. Remember, he's like, well, he take it to the auto body shop and he's gonna bill it out. Well, guess what? He's probably never gonna do the fucking work because they're using these beater cars for accidents. But guess what? He'll do all the work. He won't do all the work. He'll pay it out. Or let's say he does the work, then he just strips the cars afterwards. Who really knows? But they're doing it however they want to cause a plan. They do this throughout 2017 into 2017. They're still doing it. They're still doing it. They're still doing it. They keep going. And then they say, in and around 2017, the defense attorneys began raising the defense of fraud and lawsuits involving Giles and the King firm. Among other things, the defense attorneys pointed to evidence that LeBeau had communicated with passengers in the collisions. And after the insurance defense companies began raising the defense of fraud, Giles and the King firm committed acts of obstruction of justice and witness tampering. So they did this to cover up. So what did they do? They manipulated LeBeau into stating the collisions he and Hickman staged were legitimate. They secretly recorded LeBeau's manipulated statements without his knowledge. So it's funny. The attorneys fucked over the guy they're using to stage the accidents, which, rightly so. Rightly so. Yeah. Fenris is right. It's the one thing I agree with Robert Barnes that he said is there. It's always in cash, never in writing, but not everything else he says. Oh, hold on here. Hey, Clyde, are you okay, Bubba? Come here, Clyde. Clyde. He's like a little, come here, Clyde. Come here, Bubba. He's like he gets antsy when there's a storm, so he's kind of like going back and forth between me and 2.0. Clyde, come here, Bubby. Come on. He's like, come, fat man, help me. Come here, Clyde. Clyde, come here. Up. Hey, come here. Clyde. Hey, come here. He's like, save me, fat man. The storm's coming. You're okay, buddy. You're okay. You're okay. Actually, chat, hold on one second. Chat, I have to go get something real quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry, chat. We had some Amazon stuff got dropped off earlier when I came in and my hands were full, and I was like, I'll get it later. And I'm like, oh shit, it's starting to rain really hard. Thankfully, they were pushed in far enough, but I'm like, I'm just gonna grab them and throw them inside the door. So we took care of that. I'm so sorry. A bunch of you guys left. My bad. So we're gonna keep going here, though, guys. I was only talking about in around 2019. They became aware, which means they probably were aware at the time the guy got picked up, of the federal investigation into the scheme. And also at that point, the attorneys and their investigators probably told the feds at that point. Around that time, Keating began sharing phone records in order to identify clients whose numbers appeared on LeBeau's phone records. They also provided a document called verification of facts to Keating. Verification of facts. You know, they literally did this, guys. They documented themselves. And they took notes on their criminal fucking conspiracy. They literally did.
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Yes, verification of facts. Yes, we're verifying, hey, you agree. We're marking down our little conspiracy. Do you agree with us? Please check yes or no. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You guys aren't even good criminals. This is awful. This is absolutely fucking awful, guys. Like, why? Why would you do this? Why? Why would this, like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Oh God, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Then they sat down with him and were like, look, you understand, all right? Yes. Like, do you agree that we're running a scam here, sir? Yeah. Would you like to commit wire fraud today? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, this is just so fucking dumb. This is so dumb. Like, memorandum on fraud. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? It's like fucking Office Space. Like, how do we commit fraud? It's like, what am I going to do with 80 subscriptions to Vibe? Like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? But they do, and they did, and they kept doing this. Yeah, this is why you meet in a cemetery. I agree. This is awful. This is just awful. You guys love that clip? Yeah. It's because they're retarded. I agree. Johan says they do say most criminals do actually want to get caught. I know. Yeah, they say that, but I'm sure these lawyers don't want to go to fucking prison. So during a meeting around this time, Giles and King discussed the investigation of the staged collisions. It suggested they use the verification of facts as a cover to protect themselves. The reason why the feds know what this is exactly called is because they probably got a copy of it. During this meeting, they suggested LeBeau leave town for a while there was increased attention on the collisions. Like, laying low, it doesn't work anymore. This isn't like 1972. After the meeting with Keating, the lawyers convinced the passengers in the collisions to sign verification of facts documents. Oh, man. Giles and the firm knew the verification of facts documents were false because the documents failed to disclose the collisions were staged. So in 2020, they manipulated Hickman into stating the collisions that he staged were legitimate. And they secretly recorded his manipulated statement without his knowledge. And at the time of the recording, they were aware that Hickman was a defendant in a federal criminal case involving the scheme. They are also aware that Hickman was represented by a criminal defense attorney, which they should have contacted. And they elicited these statements without the criminal defense attorney being present. And that can get you in deep trouble legally anyway. So they talk about the Slammer stuff here. And they said, beginning at an unknown time, Slammer H taught Garrison out-of-stage collisions. And then from 2015 to 17, they did this. At some time unknown, Garrison got introduced to the disbarred lawyer, Alfertish. And they say, although he'd been disbarred, he led others to believe he was an attorney, and he played an active role in the collisions. They directed passengers in the stage collisions to the law firm for representation. The passengers were also directed to the other attorneys. They say that around that time, Harris worked with Garrison to learn how to be a slammer. And it's not as simple as you think, guys. You have to do it the right way. Like, there are ways you do it there's an entire way to do it. Eventually, Harris stopped working with Garrison and went out on his own. He's like, I've learned all I can from you, Sensei. I'm moving out on my own. No, it's not the ones who do Defense Diaries. Not Bob and Allie. It's a different one. So, yes, lay low and be sure to take your phone with you. Jordan says, oh, now I'm responsible for the safety of all witnesses for the duration of a trial. This is ridiculous. Well, you'll see why it becomes an issue. Similar to Garrison, Harris staged collisions all over the place. They talk about Alfertish and Mata paying Harris, Garrison, and others via cash and checks. They would often do, once again, they would do the loans and advances on settlements. And these payments were funneled through entities controlled by Alfertish. And they instructed Garrison that if he were ever questioned about why they were paying him, he should lie and say the payments for a reason unrelated to the collisions, including for construction. So they talk about for Mata's cases, like, well, what did they do? Well, they did a bunch of these. 2015, 2016. They go through a bunch of these to show that it was an ongoing conspiracy. And they talk about for Mata and them. The defense attorneys got notice, and they raised defenses of fraud. And then in 2019, they became aware of the federal investigation for themselves. And it says, similar to Giles and the King firm, they committed various acts of obstruction. They began doing whatever they could there. And they said after Garrison began covertly cooperating, but no later than under about January 2020, they offered to conspire Garrison payment and to move Garrison outside the United States if Garrison agreed not to cooperate with the federal criminal investigation into the stage scheme. I mean, think about how desperate they are. We will pay you to leave the country. This is interesting. This isn't just, some yahoos paying out money. Like, we'll relocate you outside the United States. It's a little more than that. I think this is why it's an interesting one to do. This is why it's interesting. He Billy Joel'd him, yes. Yes, just like scenes from an Italian restaurant. And then in January 2020, Garrison received a subpoena for a deposition in a civil case relating to a collision. They then conspired to obstruct his participation in the deposition. And then in November 2020, Harris received a deposition, and they conspired to obstruct it. And that's witness tampering. So they talk about the mail fraud. So what did they do? Well, they used the mail to fraudulently do stuff. So they talked about, well, what happened? Well, they did knowingly cause to be delivered an envelope containing a settlement check in the amount of $50,000. And that is a very common way to do stuff, guys. Like, I had a case settle recently, and it was like $6,000. And you know what came out of it? It was a check, and it got mailed where it had to go. So that is not an uncommon thing there. That is not an uncommon thing. That's how you do checks. They get sent out by the mail. So I talk more about more mail fraud. So this is where the lawyers in Mata Law worked with Chunky So what did they do? They caused an envelope containing a special and limited power of attorney. Well, that becomes important. You can't just do that. If that's fraudulent, that's mail fraud. They obstructing justice. Well, what did they do? They offered Cornelius Garrison payment to move outside the United States if he agreed not to cooperate. That's witness tampering. So, and that's obstructing. And notice they're getting him different ways. They wanted him to move outside the United States, and they wanted to delay and prevent. They also did more obstructing. Well, how do they do that? Well, they recording their guys and believing that the collisions were legitimate. This is all illegal. You can't do this stuff. They talked about preventing a guy from going to give testimony in an official proceeding and the grand jury's investigation. Like now, it's not only they're obstructing a deposition, they're obstructing the grand jury. These guys are swinging for the fences. Another person, Diaminki Stalbert made false statements to the FBI. And remember, guys, that's 18 USC 1001. Remember, that's the Martha Stewart thing. She said that she had never taken part in a stage collision. She did not recognize anyone in the video of a stage collision, and that she had never used a certain phone ending in 4996. Well, there you go. It's also why you don't talk to the cops. Maddie's saying defrauding the insurance companies and mail fraud. Well, you see that they sent out a power of attorney in the mail that was fraudulent. That's mail fraud too. So what the hell kind of name is Diamenki? Will these lawyers get serious time or a slap on the wrist? I mean, like, it's probably not going to go well for them. They're fucked anyway. Although the disbarred guy has already been to prison for fraud, so it's not like he's going to be hurting, I don't think. So I don't know how bad it's going to get for him. I don't know how bad it's going to get for him at this point. Hold on here, chat. Let me see. All right. Even on illegal stops, yes. Jeez, Chad, I can hear it over my fan. I can hear it through my fucking headphones. Yeah. He's going to get enhancements. Yes, he will federally. So they talk about more about in 2019, Cornelius Garrison began covertly cooperating with the federal government. And then in 2020, Garrison got charged in an indictment for conspiracy to commit mail fraud. So what did they do? Well, guess what happens? I think you guys probably saw this coming. Oh, this guy snitched out. And we're talking about a murder in this. Well, yeah, old Corny here. Corny Gare. Yeah, he was not long for this world. So they all conspired to kill Cornelius Garrison to shut him the fuck up. So what's the overt act? So they caused Cornelius Garrison to be shot multiple times and killed. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, chat. Poor Chunky. Poor Chunky. Poor Chunky is involved in the murder. So the witness tampering through murder. Once again, killing Cornelius Garrison is also witness tampering through murder. This is now a death penalty eligible offense. Killing a witness in a federal case is a death penalty offense. Thank you, Joe Biden, for doing that. Retaliating against a witness through murder. Once again, chat, they combine and they agree to kill Cornelius Garrison with the intent to retaliate for providing to a law enforcement officer information relating to a federal offense. In the overt act, they caused him to be shot multiple times. They again not only conspiracy, but they did retaliate. Once again, it's the same thing. Now, here's what they think. Specifically, Alfertish and Leon Parker did kill and aided and abet the killing of Cornelius Garrison. Like, they actually think these dudes did it. Specifically. So, causing the death through use of firearm. Yep. Once again, they willfully, deliberately, and maliciously, with malice aforethought, unlawfully killed Garrison. So, these guys have all been charged. And they're seizing all kinds of property. And this is their superseding indictment that they have. So, this is the entirety of their indictment. Now, from here, though, there's an interesting thing that happened. And we're going to keep track of this case. But it's interesting what happens here. So this happened in January, and I can hear the Kit Kat playing in the litter box. It's like my senses are heightened. I'm like the Sentinel. You guys remember that show? The Poitras Center, is that how you call it, or the Padres Center? I don't know. So they say, in compliance with the case, and this is a Fifth Circuit case here, and with Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, the government wishes to acknowledge that the government and Ryan J. Harris, through their attorney, they have advised by the defendant fully understands the plea agreement. So, he pled guilty to a superseding bill of information, charging with 3 counts: conspiracy to commit mail fraud and wire fraud, and causing death by use of a firearm in furtherance of a crime offense. So he's acknowledged to being part of the murder. Sounds like somebody's going to snitch out. Sounds like someone's snitching out. And guys, if you've never seen these before, the feds, the AUSA, the Assistant United States Attorney, the defendant, and defense counsel sign off on every page going through this. So if he had done all this, he faces for the conspiracy a maximum of 20 years. As far as these charges go. As the count 1, he would have faced a term imprisonment of 20 years. As the count 8, witness tampering through murder, he would have faced a mandatory term of life imprisonment or death. As the count 9, retaliation, he could have faced a mandatory term of life imprisonment or death. And as the count 10, causing death through use of firearm, he would have faced a maximum term of life imprisonment or death. So they agree that will not bring any other charges in Eastern District, Louisiana, for violations of federal law prior to May 6th, as long as he has truthfully informed law enforcement officials of the full and complete details of those crimes prior to his guilty plea in this case. Meaning he snitched out. He snitched it up. Yeah. How loud he pled. Yes. How loud. Oh, I said it right the first time? Okay, thank you, EDW. I unlike Ag, you are a native Louisianan, so I trust your pronunciations of things. So he snitched out. I wonder what he told him. But notice, look what he did at this point in time. And if we go back to the indictment was filed, when? April 2025. So guess what? He gave them information. So he further understands that should his plea be accepted, for the conspiracy for mail fraud, 20 years. As the count 2, he faces imprisonment of 20 years. And Title 18, he faces a maximum term of life imprisonment and or death. So what do they agree, though? That a total sentence of 35 years in prison is appropriate for the disposition of this case. 20 years imprisonment for count 1 and 15. For count 1, 15 years of imprisonment, count 2. And then for 35 years imprisonment is the count 3. And the sentences for 1 and 2 shall run consecutively with each other and concurrently with the sentence of count 3. So count 3 runs along all the whole time, chat. And for this other one, they want 1 runs for a while, and then 2 picks up, and they end at the same time. That's kind of what they're looking for. That's kind of what they're looking for there. So, yeah, they'll run it all consecutive. I agree. The court is doing that. Both parties agree the sentencing range is reasonable. Regarding the seriousness of the defendant's conduct, meaning he fucking killed this guy. The court may accept or reject it, and he's not sentenced until September 23rd. So this is why we're going to come back to this, guys. This is going to be good. The parties further agree, should the court not abide by this agreement, the defendant or the government has the option of declaring this plea agreement null and void. And that's not unreasonable. But some places that doesn't happen. So, for example, in Ohio, I know we talked about Nick's case and Aaron's case. Here in Ohio, that's not something most courts I'm in, you get the option of doing. If you plea, you're letting it ride on the judge doing what you want. If not, uh-oh. So, this here talks about restitution. We're not worried about any restitution imposed. They're saying it will be non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. This guy's going to prison for 35 fucking years. I don't think he cares. His mandatory special assessment fees, nobody cares. None of that matters. They're worried about the terms of supervised release after imprisonment for a period of up to 3 years on counts 1 and 2 and 5 years on count 3. Nobody really cares about that. That he may give the right to appeal his conviction, sentence, restitution, and fine and judgment imposed. He also understands he may have the right to file collateral charges, but he understands that none of that's going to matter to him here. So, acknowledging all these rights and subject to the limitations above, he waives and gives up any right to appeal or contest his guilty plea, conviction, sentence, fine, supervised release, and any restitution imposed by any judge under any applicable restitution statute. He waives and gives up any right to appeal any order, decision, or judgment arising out of this under law imposed by any judge. He waives and gives up any right to challenge a sentence collaterally, including any rights under 28 U.S.C. 2255 and 2241. Rule 60 of the Rules of Civil Procedure and Rule 36 of the Criminal Procedure Rules. And that includes writs of coram nobis, audita querela, I forget how you pronounce that, and other collateral challenges to a sentence of any kind. These are actual things you have to do, chat. And audita querela. Hold on here. Yeah, hold on. Did I misspell that? Yeah, so chat, I forgot about this. Yes. It's a writ. It's yeah. So it is a writ it's an Old English writ. Seeking relief from judgments. It's kind of like you're doing a habeas petition. It's not an uncommon thing there. It's a bunch of the shithouse lawyering things there. And coram nobis is when you're correcting the record with new facts. So he's waving goodbye to his rights. Yeah. So he's waiving that, and that's a way just the government insulates him from filing shithouse lawyer motions in the future. He does not waive the right and retains the right to bring a direct appeal of any sentence imposed in excess of the statutory maximum. Meaning, if the judge gives him an illegal sentence, he has the right to challenge that. The defendant also retains the right for ineffective assistance of counsel in any appropriate proceeding. So, he understands any discussions with an attorney or anyone else regarding the guidelines are rough estimates, and the court is not bound by those discussions. Now, chat, remember, we talked about the sentencing guidelines for Diddy. The prosecution comes up with a number, the defense comes up with a number, and the court comes up with a number. And the court may look at one side or another and say, actually, I agree with one of you guys. They might say, fuck you both. I'm doing what I want. And they may upward departure or downward departure from those things. They can do a lot of different things they want to do. There is a lot there. There's a lot there. And they say in an effort to resolve this matter in a timely fashion, the defendant agrees to knowingly, voluntarily, explicitly waive his rights pursuant to Rule 410 of the Rules of Evidence upon signing this agreement on the factual basis. And the defendant understands and agrees that if his plea is withdrawn, any statements made by the defendant to law enforcement or an attorney for the prosecuting authority during plea discussions, any statements made by the defendant during court, including any factual basis summary signed by the defendant, and any leads from such statements, factual bases or summaries, is admissible for all purposes against the defendant in any criminal proceedings, meaning anything you said or signed, we will use against you. So this plea agreement, this thing here, he signed that he's agreeing that he did it. All this shit comes in. All this shit comes in. They say he agrees to forfeit any right, title, and interest in forfeiture for anything the government's looking to seize. We don't really matter about that. Doesn't care. He's not, there. He agrees to submit to interviews whenever and ever requested by law enforcement authorities regarding all assets within his possession. He'll provide any and all financial information the government, is requested, and agrees to execute a complete list of through a financial statement of debtor, providing all his financial information so they can retrieve items and retrieve restitution, because these insurance companies were defrauded. And I know you guys are like, well, fuck the insurance companies. But yeah, they fucked over a lot of businesses out of this. Businesses may have gone under because of this. So, yeah. That's what happens here. And this is signed by the assistant U.S. attorneys, his trial attorney, his attorneys down here, Christopher Morell and Megan Matt, and then Ryan Harris. So somebody snitched out the whole plan. Oh. Crystal Pontac is saying, is the key not to have bullshit charges? The key is not to commit fucking crimes. But Crystal, it's good to see you, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Ellie Johnson says, good luck with ineffective assistance challenges here. Yeah, I agree. But he has the right to bring them, because there might be a time where this happens. Maybe. EDW Raptor says, appeal it up. Okay, the Fifth Circuit is one building over. Lamau. Well, there you go. That helps. The Fifth Circuit is headquartered in New Orleans. And that makes sense because Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana, it's right in the middle. Just like the Sixth Circuit is headquartered in Cincinnati. And the Ninth Circuit is headquartered in San Francisco. And that kind of makes sense, geographically located. So. Ritza Michael Corvinus. Is that out of, oh God, what is that? What Kate Beckinsale vampire movie? Damn it! Fuck, I forget now. That who they're looking for in that movie? Underworld. There we go. Yes. Trump once says, "Wow, what?" Yes, Underworld. Correct. Underworld. Yes. Yeah. Well, you should be. Wow, I got the Michael Corvinus part. Waving goodbye to his Louis Vuitton prison purse, his prison wallet. Yeah. Oh, how old is this guy? I don't know, but I'm probably young enough that that's not a death sentence for him. Probably in his 20s or 30s. Even if he's not, even if in his 40s or 50s, it's still a chance to get out. Everybody else involved in the murder stuff is probably they're going to be swinging for the fences. So don't want to be doing it. You don't want to be doing it, chat. So be careful, guys. Be careful out there. Be careful. Sweet Tooth Fairy says, when writing regulations, the California Office of Administrative Law wants section written out now. Ugh, that's nasty. That's not good. EDW Raptor says, somehow this was Tarl's chaos magic. Very true. Cool channel name says $1,000 to ruin a trucker's life. Yeah. Some truckers, that's it for them. Because if they get found at fault, You get tickets, and yeah, you get held at fault. Insurance companies won't use you. You guys are talking about, yeah, well, Clyde has had some weed treats, but he just wasn't doing too well. Also, apparently, though, when he was running back and forth to me and 2.0, apparently 2.0 was up walking around. So Clyde's like, oh no, I don't know where to go. And Fenris Wolf is right. Yes, a lot of the personal injury firms are pass-throughs, Morgan being the biggest. Yeah, Morgan & Morgan, they do it, and then they referral, and they, use local attorneys, and they split out the fee agreements that way. But yeah, they make a lot of money doing it. Henrik Abrahamian, or Heinrich, I'm not sure which. I think it's Henrik. Abrahamian, I think, is probably actually more the correct pronunciation. Says it's unreal. Yeah, it's this is a big thing. It happened. This is a very common insurance scam, but I've never heard of people getting murdered in it, and I've never heard of like attorneys running these like this. But Jesus Christ, EDW Raptor for 10 subs. Chat, let's go. That is some big freaking support tonight. And remember, chat, when you do subs, when you gift them or you do one for yourself, this is what you're doing to the Grays. Clyde is going to show you what it looks like. It's what it looks like every time. So don't be afraid to do your part. Don't be afraid to do your part. Just crush these Grays under your boot heel or your big Robo Clyde claws. ED says F's in the chat for Chunky. Yep. F's in the chat for Cornelius. A real one, a real slammer out there. Yes, don't settle for the minimal. Call potentially criminal. Thank you, Walter Malone. I like that a lot. That's good. Spud Gun is re-upped as a member. Thank you, man. Good to see you. The amateur iconoclast gifted wide sob. Let's freaking go, chat. Let's go. Oh. Where you're saying you can go to jail or pay $250K. Even if you could pay $250K, you're still going to jail. Like these guys are all going to jail anyway. Yes, this beats an open plea. Bama says he will literally spend the rest of his life in prison. Well, maybe he has a chance of getting out. And Kimbo says, oh no, or yes, Fenris, oh no, his credit's going to be ruined. Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll survive. Yeah, we don't watch that shit. If you want vampires, watch James Wood. Yes. Oh, James Wood, that is so good at his movie. Yeah, John Carpenter's Vampires. That is such a good movie. So, she was so hot. And Robin Hood's right. Yes. Boing, boing. Durna says, shame on every male that knew the answer. Really? You're going to shame us for knowing that one? Yes. Robin Hood says, I know there are Greek attorneys in Ohio, Sean. I know there are. Yes, there are. And there are Greek attorneys in Ohio named Spiros. Oh. So, Kia Path says, even if I was desperate, I'd never get on a scheme on a crime that operates like a Ponzi scheme, bringing new people in. And that's the problem. Eventually, things get caught. But even then, like, they just brought in people to enhance their crew, and they picked a guy who was a little weak, and then I'll give them credit. They found Cornelius being the weak link, and they just went, bop, bop. And, hey, I admire the determination. Hold on. What's up? Do you want me to close the door? Okay. Yeah, it's weird. It's like pissing down rain, and our one cat just keeps hopping in and out of the dog door, like, and then I'll stand outside on the deck and go like, meow, and it's like, the fuck, you come inside, retard. So sometimes it's the neatest cat in the world. Sometimes it's so stupid. Cool Channel says I was looking at the ethnicity of the names. Yeah. Also, since you joined tonight, Spud Gun, As I said, guys, 10 o'clock, we are doing members only over here on YouTube. We're gonna do members only in about 20 minutes or so. So we're gonna wrap this up here in a minute. But I just wanted to remind you guys of that. Let's see here. Hey, do I ever do workers' comp claims? I have one going to the Columbus court. Should I attend in person? Do you have no, I don't do workers' comp. You need to know the ins and outs of the whole process. Do you have an attorney? If you do, ask them if you have to be there. But if there's no attorney involved, you might want to make sure you have to be there. If you don't have to be there, that's fine. It might just be a hearing. You get a determination letter. And then from there, you might want to get an attorney involved. But I would make sure you have an attorney. But also, me going to Columbus will be a long fucking way, man. That's like a 3-hour drive. So, no, I mean, but I would just make sure you have somebody there for you. Make sure somebody's there for you watching your back. Good luck. Good luck. Kate Beckinsale's a ghoul now. I mean, she's okay still. I mean, act like you wouldn't, wiggle around your wiener in her, tell me you're a liar. Little Miss says, my all-time fave is the Not Welcome from American History X. Oh, you mean this one?
See this? That means not welcome.
You mean that one? Yes. I wish I had a better, my editor, I don't know how to tag it, so it's like, I can't make it identify a point and, AI track that and just keep it right there. So I had to sit there and, frame, cut it up every time it moved and then, move the little green square over it as it went. It was very, very boomer-inducing. Very boomer-inducing. So. Yeah. Johan Naxos gifting 1 sub. EDW after gifting 1 sub as well. All right, guys. Also, real quick before we get too far, tomorrow night we've got just a couple updates on. We got a Thursday night show we do every week. We got a lot of things we are talking about, and there are some interesting things that are coming up in the legal world. A juror in the Karen Reed trial, a grand juror in federal court, pled guilty to leaking things from the grand jury, which you're not supposed to do. A couple of guys in England are going to prison for cutting down a very famous tree and damaging Hadrian's Wall. The YouTuber who cut his dad's head off and was streaming with it, he got sent to prison. The Menendez brothers have an update, and it's a very interesting update. I think they might be getting out. They might be getting out of prison before the year's over, and maybe sooner, depending on how this goes. And then a little bit of a Ricade update. There's some updates with Aaron and the HRO and Nick and the HRO. And also now Melton has been served with an HRO. So we'll go through all that. We'll go through all of that tomorrow. And that's at 9:30 Eastern. And I hope to see you guys there. It's a fun time. I think it's a very, very fun time myself. So these cats are doing cat things. Yeah, I know, but it's so annoying. Fenris says your vampires should never sparkle. Well, I mean, I guess, but it's like you're telling me, okay, fine. You don't have to have sex with the Kate Beckinsale vampire. I'm not forcing you to, okay? You don't have to. You don't have to do it. Otron One says, yes, I have an attorney. Just double check with them. You don't need to be there. Just ask them. My attorneys are from Cleveland, too. Well, they've probably got it worked out. I don't know how much of a cut they're taking out of your thing or how that's set up. So, Peter Key says, what? Look her up? I mean, still, you're telling me. Hold on here. I'll pull her up right now. Yeah, really? You think she looks bad now? Not as good as she used to, but you're so full of shit. So Crystal says, you have enough friends, get someone to edit for you. I know, but I like doing the little stuff, and I like doing my thumbnails and things like that. Blake Lively subpoenaing YouTubers that talk bad about her. I didn't know this. This is interesting. Maybe I'll do it so then I can become famous too. Blake Lively, you're a fuck you. She wants to dox their credit cards and bank account numbers. Well, there we go. Yes. You get Filipino slave labor to do that. Did I send you that list via messenger pigeon? I sent it by your mom. I tattooed it on her butt cheek. So eventually you'll see it. Did Kayla Giles win at the Louisiana Supreme Court? Yes. That is something we're going to go over, chat. We've got all that ready to go. Like I said, chat, I had to get some stuff sorted out. So we are going to take care of that one here soon. Steel Toe as a lawyer, I did see that. Brick Lady has a court date coming up. Who's Brick Lady, Dweez? What about Johnny Somali? Johnny Somali's fucked. Is this your 1,000th video, or does the YouTube counter not go higher than 999? I actually don't know. Hold on. Is this my 900th video? How many videos here? Let me see. How do you know? How does it keep count? Oh, 999 videos. Oh my God. That's a crazy number. I'm going to have to we're going to have to save that here. Wow, that is pretty cool. That's pretty cool, chat. I'm going to snag that. Here we go. Well, no, why won't you just? There we go. I'll save that. I don't know, but that's pretty neat. That's a milestone. Also got over 3 million views finally, which is a cool milestone too. Thank you for noticing that and letting me know. Crystal says, but friends do things for free. Well, yeah. Crystal says, how fun is the Trump and Elon and Trump lovers quarrel? Well, as Michael Bolton said, how can we be lovers if we can't be friends? So I think it's something they have to work out. It's not elk and elk. Well, that's good. They're not guys you want in that type of setting. I am a control freak. How am I a control freak? I just like doing the stuff. I think it's fun to be artistic. Blake Lively's a hoe. Yeah, you're a hoe, Blake. You're a whore. A whore. Yes. Kim says, I'll edit a video a week if you help me promise to harass the police. Yeah. Trump 1 says, I understand that, but you always wonder if being there will carry any weight. Just double check. Just double check with them. They'll tell you the truth. Bella is saying, is Ethan going to win his cases against Hassan's harem? I still think so. He's going to fucking crush these hoes. I just hope I can get noticed by Hassan or Nicholas Delwery or Asmongold. And, that's all I need. That's all I want out of this. So they're all a bunch of fucking commies anyway, at the end of the day. Gixter Squid says, random question, who is your college football team? Well, it's if obviously where I went to school, Bowling Green Falcons, that you got to root for them. That's where I went. But if I had to choose not where I went to school, it'd be Michigan Wolverines. Fucking love them. Fucking love the Michigan Wolverines. You can't see behind me. Ooh, hold on. Right up there is the cowbell's got the Michigan sticker on it. Brick Lady is a black woman who lied about some guy trying to kidnap her and beat her with a brick on TikTok. Bella, send me some information about that because I want to see that one. Tanky says I was there for the 666 video. Yes. I'll only care in my 1488 video, yes. Can we EFAP the Monty video? No. No. Oh, I don't know anything about this, Dweez. That's pretty cool. Oh, there we go. Crystal says, well, are we not all commies? No, not everybody's a commie. Oh. You played hockey at BGSU for your when you were U15. Yeah. Cool Channel says, what is EFAP? EFAP means every frame a pause. So when we're watching a video and I might pause it and like kind of like sometimes we're at the trial and every second we have something to talk about. That's what EFAPing means. Basically, you're breaking it down almost frame by frame by frame and just commentating the thing to death. That's what EFAP means. So if you guys ever watch Mahler, he has a channel called EFAP. So they break down movies and stuff. So, yes, Ohio has some pretty base Air Force bases. I was almost shipped there to do ATC. Well, there's Wright Patterson where Hangar 18 is. Like that's it. That's the only air base worth going to. So, I'm not going to EFAP. It's like, you know, I don't know because I haven't watched it yet. Yes, Mahler, you don't need a 30-hour review of the new Star Wars shit. Yes, that's true. Well, yes, EFAP is also if you're watching porn on the internet. Well, that's true too, chat. That's true as well. So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna land the plane here. We got to land the plane. I know this is a little bit shorter tonight, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Where I mean, this was I thought was kind of a good one to get into. If you don't like this in the future, I mean, we'll try to pick things that are a little longer. I was kind of thinking this might be a good one to get into because we hadn't talked about it yet. And if you guys don't, let me know. And then remember, chat, I want to run this by you because something I'm looking at is I floated this earlier. Is the idea of there's I'm going to show you guys a murder trial coming up, and it was just done in Atlanta, Hotlanta. It's 3 days long, and we're going to do it just so you guys can see. Here's what the real world looks like. There's no Kieran Reed. There's no Wendy Adelson. Corey Richins, Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, Brian Koberger. No, it's some dudes in the hood smoking each other. Well, that sounds really gay the way I phrase that. But some dude in the hood getting smoked. You sent me Brick Lady stuff? Okay, I'll take a look for it. I think I may have missed it. I forgot about it. But anyways, it's just to show you guys how the real world is going to be. We're probably going to start that next week. So you need to do a hoodie. I think we have some hoodies at the link below. There are hoodies down there. I don't know if they'll ship to South Africa though, Crystal. So that might be the issue for you. That's something you might want to have to figure out there. I don't know the answer to that one. Yeah, they let that Glock talk. Yes. Dude was kissing. How the real world works like OJ wasn't real. It'll be Scott McAfee's courtroom, Judge Scott McAfee, the judge from the Trump case. So, Bowling Green, whose most famous alum is Jim. How do you know? Like, really? Like the things you guys Google or come up, I don't know. Jeez. So. So, I don't know, chat. I don't know with you guys sometimes. So we'll work on some other stuff here. Crystal says Judge Schroeder's the best judge ever. I don't know. The way he handled stuff wasn't very good. He didn't do a good job with Kyle Rittenhouse. LCW says I toured BGSU. It's a nice campus surrounded by corn. Yes, and windmills. So, all right, chat. So with that said, are you okay, sweetheart? Babe, are you good? Okay, I wasn't sure if you were sneezing or getting my attention. Okay. So she's good, chat. Don't worry. Also, apparently, Styx got sentenced today, but I don't know what happened with it. So, Ag, I need you, and EDW New Orleans people to let us know what happened there. But we will land the plane for now, and I will see you guys over at the see you guys over at the members only. I don't think it'll let me redirect because not everybody's gonna be a member. But you guys who are members, you know where to go. And we're already at 26,300 subscribers, chat. We are on the way. We're on the way to the moon, chat. Like nothing's gonna stop us now. So he showed up at Pirate. Oh my god. That's so sad. Although total. He got probation. Okay, well, we'll take a look at it. But anyways, in the meantime, chat, remember until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're don't murder your when you find out one guy in your crew snitches, be careful about how you murder him because the feds will figure it out. Remember, chat, work your plan and plan your work. It's critical. Good night, chat. I'll see you guys.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go. Here on Sean Martin's Potentially Criminal Show.
Rowan Coward says, hypothetically speaking, do you have a preferred FFL? Message me like through DMs on Twitter or Discord or send me an email. And if you really want to send me something, sure. Like, or if you want to find somebody who's got cheap transfer fees, I mean, like, just if you pick one within like 20 minutes a year, that's not a problem. But there are probably better and easier ones to get to for me. So just send me an email or something and I can make a suggestion or two. But whatever you, now I'm getting nervous what you guys are going to send me. So thank you, Rowan. I just want somebody made sure to brought that to my attention. So, all right, game back on, chat.